The finalists for MVP were just announced, so let's talk about it. Welcome back to Good Sports for You, where we are talking about good sports for you. And today we are going to be talking about the MVP voting. And with all due respect to the National League and Shohei Ohtani and Kyle Schwarber and Juan Soto, we're not going to be focusing on the National League because we know that Shohei Ohtani is going to be taking home his fourth MVP, which will place him in second most MVPs all time, only behind Barry Bonds with 7. So today we are going to be focusing on the American League and specifically Raleigh, Aaron Judge, and what you value the most and what voters are going to value the most. So let's hop right into it. But before we do, I want to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. I appreciate it so much. This community has been growing very fast, and I appreciate it so much. So let's try to keep it up. But like I said, let's hop right into it. Now, I don't want to disrespect the guy who's going to finish third in MVP, and that's going to be Jose Ramirez. He is one of the best players of our generation. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, probably a first ballot Hall of Famer. But this season, he's going to finish third in MVP voting just because Raleigh and Aaron Judge had such incredible seasons. But I want to go over his numbers. I want to give him some love. He had 5.8 baseball reference WAR, which is fantastic. He batted .283. He had an .863 OPS, which is awesome. He had a .137 OPS plus, so he's 37% better than league average. He had 30 home runs and he had 44 stolen bases. So it was another 30-40 season for him. He is so good. He's one of the most consistent players we've seen. He plays a good third base. He's just an all-around incredible player, so I wanted to give him his flowers. But unfortunately, this season, because of Aaron Judge and Raleigh having the seasons that they had, he's going to end up in third place, and that's just the way it is. And with Judge and Raleigh, they had two of the best seasons that we are ever going to see. And of course, they happen in the same year. In any other season, both of these players would have been easy shoo-ins for MVP. But because, for one thing, they are so different, and the second thing is being a catcher is so hard to measure, it is going to come up with intense and fierce debates on who deserves MVP. But before we get into it, I just want to remind you, these two guys are two of the best players that we've ever seen, especially right now, and they just had two of the best seasons ever. Raleigh had one of, if not the best offensive season by a catcher ever, and Aaron Judge had another season where he had beyond a 1 OPS. He had beyond a 200 OPS plus, which means he's over 100% better than the league average hitter. Like, both of these guys are so incredible, and that's what this channel is about, is recognizing how incredible sports are and how much good there is in these sports. And both of these guys were so fantastic. So I'm not making this video to diminish one side at all. I'm making this video to prop up both sides. And before we get into it, yes, I have an Aaron Judge bobblehead here, but I'm not an Aaron Judge fan. I'm not a Yankees fan. I live in Jersey now, so I do go to some Yankees games, but I'm a Brewers fan through and through. The Mariners are probably my second favorite team in all honesty, so there's no real stakes that I have. I go to Yankees games because I'm close by, and I like the Mariners because they're another fun, small market team, and the Brewers and Mariners have connections going way back. So it's like, I don't have any value in either team. I have a little bit in both, I guess, but it cancels out pretty evenly. So I'm really looking at this from an objective standpoint. And like I said, from the perspective of a Brewers fan who doesn't have any stake in who wins and who loses. So let's hop right into it. So to start with the case for Aaron Judge, if you look at the pure rate stats, he has Raleigh beat in basically everything. Batting average, he has almost an 100-point lead. He leads Raleigh 331 to 247. That's a huge jump. On base percentage, it's basically the same thing. 457 to 359. Slugging percentage, it's the same deal. 688 to 589. And then OPS, he has an OPS of 1.144 to an OPS of 948. Both are incredible, but if you look at it, Aaron Judge, rate stats wise, is just objectively better in basically everything. OPS plus wise, which takes your OPS and figures out like park factors and what area you play in and compares it to the players around you, he has a 215 OPS plus, which means he is 115% better than the league average hitter. And Raleigh has a 169 OPS plus, which means he's 69% better than the league average hitter, which is really nice, but obviously it isn't as good as that 215 that we were talking about. Aaron Judge also does beat him in some counting stats. He has much more hits, and that's because his batting average is so much higher. He had 179 hits to 147. He has more walks at 124 to 97, and he has more total bases at 372 to 351. So, when you look at those stats, one would say, oh, it's pretty obvious that Aaron Judge is the MVP, because in addition to that, he has higher baseball reference WAR at 9.7 to 7.4, and then he also has a higher Fangraphs WAR at 10.1 to 9.1. So, like I said, he beats him in basically all of these categories. And also, the team was just slightly better. Now, I personally am not a proponent of having team wins matter at all for the MVP, but a lot of people will say, hey, the best player on the best team. And the Yankees were tied for the best record in the American League at 94 wins compared to Cal Raleigh's Seattle Mariners, which only had 90 wins. So it's in a lot of those things, it's very easy to say, yeah, Aaron Judge is easily the MVP. He beats him in the rate stats. When he is on the field, he is the way better hitter. And a lot of people like to think that the MVP is just a hitting stat, but it's really not. So we're going to hop in to why Cal Raleigh deserves to be the MVP. There are some counting stats in which Cal Raleigh easily takes the cake. He had more games played, only by 7, but that still definitely matters, especially considering that Cal Raleigh was playing defense way more. Aaron Judge DH'd a lot more than Cal Raleigh did. We're going to hop into those numbers a little bit later. Cal Raleigh also had more plate appearances at 705 to 679. He also had more home runs at 60 home runs to 53. He had more RBIs at 125 to 114. And also, fun fact, I didn't know this, he had more stolen bases at 14 to 12. Now, the thing is, a lot of those numbers are very, very close. But we're going to talk about a little bit later is why the number 60 specifically is so important. Voters like round numbers, and that 60 is a nice round number that people can look at and say, wow, a catcher hit 60 home runs. That's phenomenal. So like I said, when you're looking at the pure stats, Aaron Judge honestly has it quite easily. But the thing is, despite what many people would like to say, MVP voting is not dictated alone by your stats, and it's certainly not dictated by your rate stats. And there are 3 things that Cal Raleigh has that Aaron Judge does not. And that is the narrative, that is the position, and that is the number. And I want to talk about each of those things. So, for example, Cal Raleigh has the narrative. This was Seattle's first time winning the division since 2001. That matters. People see this small market team and you see this catcher leading the charge. Wow, oh my gosh, this small market team is doing something that they haven't done in 2 decades. This is absolutely phenomenal. Whereas you have the Yankees. The Yankees had more wins, but the Yankees are the Yankees. The Yankees blew their division lead, so that certainly matters. You want to look at Aaron Judge and you're going to say, wow, I don't want to give the MVP to the captain of a team who blew their division lead. I want to give it to somebody who led their team to their first division win since 2001. These things certainly matter. And the other thing is, too, Judge has voters fatigue because he is so good. He is doing things that we haven't seen since Barry Bonds. He's arguably the best right-handed hitter ever, if at a bare minimum, he is one of the best. He is consistently over a 200 OPS plus, which is just absolutely absurd. But to see those things consistently, it's oh yeah, he just does it day in and day out. Oh, this is just another season for Aaron Judge. You look at other leagues like the NBA, Jokic. What Jokic does has never been seen ever. But because he does it so much, people get bored of it. It's the same thing with Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's Giannis right there, shout out my guy, right? But what he does is another level of dominance, but people see it so often, they just assume that it's natural at that point. James Harden, what James Harden was doing at his prime, he was scoring so much that people just got used to it. If you want to look at the MLB, you can find examples of that all over the place. Mike Trout, if you look at what Mike Trout did year in and year out, you could have argued that he should have won MVP every single season. Same with guys even Albert Pujols in his prime. Prime Albert Pujols was really a different beast, and he should have won the MVP more often. So you look at Aaron Judge and you say, wow, he is having another one of the best seasons ever. but it's like his third best season in the past 4 years. So can we even give the MVP to a guy who's not even having his best season, not even his second best season ever? Like, that's a hard thing for voters to wrap their head around. And then the second thing is the position. Cal Raleigh is a catcher. He is doing something that no other player on the diamond does. He is involved in every single pitch. He is calling for the balls. He's calling for the strikes, right? He's telling where to throw the pitch. He's catching the ball, and he didn't have a single passed ball in the regular season. So he's a plus defensive catcher, and like, that's an absolute strain on your knees, on your body. So to do what he did on the offensive side of the ball, while playing the most important position defensively, is a huge, huge thing. And also the thing is, like I said before, he was playing the defensive side of the ball more than Aaron Judge was, even though Aaron Judge is playing an objectively less value position at right field. Cal Raleigh caught just about 75% of his games played, whereas Aaron Judge played about 62% of his games in right field. So like I said, Cal Raleigh is playing the more difficult, more valuable, more taxing position, and he's doing it far more often. And like I said, it's not like he's a poor defensive catcher. There are guys like that. He didn't allow a single pass ball during the regular season. He won the Gold Glove last year. Like, he is a good catcher, so it's not a negative at all. It's a huge, huge positive. And the final thing is the number, that nice round number of 60 home runs. You don't see 60 home runs often. You've never seen 60 home runs by a catcher. You've never seen 60 home runs by a switch hitter even. And that includes guys like Mickey Mantle, some of the best players ever, and Cal Raleigh was the only one to have ever done it. But when you really think about it, does that one home run to go from 59 to 60 really matter a lot? In all honesty, it really shouldn't, because it's 1 out of 60. It's at a most 4 extra runs over the course of the entire season, or RBIs, I should say. At a minimum, it's 1 extra run and 1 extra RBI. But the thing is, if I'm a voter and I see a 60, that makes an impact. He has that narrative, that number of he hit the 60 home run mark. Like, and you see these examples throughout baseball in the past. And when you really look at it all, the narrative of Miguel Cabrera winning the Triple Crown in Mike Trout's rookie year in 2012 is obviously he's going to win the MVP. He won the Triple Crown. Mike Trout had like 3 more WAR than him that season. He had like 45 more stolen bases. He had a higher on base percentage. The rest of the offensive numbers were like really, really close. Mike Trout was a way better defender. He was playing a more valuable position. But Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown. And how are you going to say this guy won the Triple Crown, which happens so infrequently, and we're not going to give him the MVP? That's kind of foolish. So the thing is with Cal Raleigh, he just had one of, if not the best offensive season for his position ever. And that's not enough to give him the MVP because this other guy was really, really good. But on the other hand, you have Aaron Judge, where you look at the pure numbers and you say, but he was better in almost every single aspect. He played a little bit less games, but when you look at the rate stats, he is more valuable in like every single aspect. When he's at the plate, he's objectively more valuable than Cal Raleigh. But obviously, like, there are 2 sides to the ball. Cal Raleigh plays a more valuable defensive position. But does the weight of Aaron Judge's bat outweigh what Cal Raleigh did being a catcher? That's not for me to decide. You know, put your thoughts in the comments and do all those things. So I want to wrap it up a little bit. And like I said, when you're looking at everything as a whole, Judge is the better player. Offensively, easily, and it honestly isn't very close. But Cal Raleigh and Cal Raleigh fans have an ace in the hole that can't be beat. But has Aaron Judge ever caught a game? Has Aaron Judge ever called for what pitch to throw? No. And being a catcher, it is so hard to measure the value of a player. You have a guy like Martin Maldonado, not a good hitter at all. He was a good defender at catching, but he always had a job. He was a valuable free agent because people wanted him because of what he could do for the pitchers. The Seattle Mariners had one of the best pitching staffs in the entire league this year. They had a dominant starting pitching rotation, and a lot of that is because Cal Raleigh was behind the dish. If you have a guy that you say, okay, we know that a ball isn't going to get past him, I feel okay throwing a 58-foot slider or curveball, that adds a ton of valuable, just things that you can't even measure. And the thing is, when you look at Cal Raleigh's pure offensive numbers and you look at a guy like Kyle Schwarber in the National League, the numbers are very, very close. Kyle Schwarber isn't going to sniff a first place vote in the National League because he was a designated hitter, but he was still a finalist for the MVP, and Cal Raleigh was doing this while also being a catcher. So like I said, it is splitting hairs. And if I were given a vote for who I would vote for MVP, thank goodness I don't, because I genuinely don't even know. I would lean towards Cal Raleigh right now just because of what he did and the historical value. But if you want to vote for Aaron Judge because the numbers are there, the rate stats are objectively much better, that's totally fine, and I 100% get where you're coming from. If you have an argument that I didn't bring up, put it down in the comments section. Put it down below, and I would love to talk with you. I'm responding to all the comments that I see. And if somebody says, hey, Cal Raleigh easily deserves to win it, here's why. Okay, let's talk about it. Or if you say, hey, Aaron Judge deserves to win it 100%, here's why. Let's talk about it. Or if you say, hey, neither of those guys deserve to win it, Tarek Skubal should have deserved to win it, hey, let's talk about it. Let's chat. So it's like I said, it's just, this is one of the most important MVP voting because it's going to show us what really matters. Cal Raleigh has the narrative. He has the story. He has that nice whole round number. He has the positional value. Aaron Judge doesn't have the narrative. He doesn't have the story. He doesn't have that nice round number, but he has way better rate stats. So, I guess we're going to see what's going to happen. And for all I know, it's going to be a blowout in One Direction. I don't know. Shout out One Direction, by the way. Love their music. But it's so you never really know what's going to happen. But what we should all do is not get upset at each other for saying, I wanted to vote this way. I think it should go that way. Because at the end of the day, appreciate greatness. And what we just saw this season were two of the best seasons that we are ever going to see. Cal Raleigh had arguably the best offensive season by a catcher ever. And Aaron Judge just had another phenomenal season. This is his third season out of his past 4 years where he had over 200 OPS plus. That's at the level of Barry Bonds. That's at one of the greatest players to ever play level. So respect both of these players. They are both so good and so talented, and we were lucky to have been able to see them this year. But that's all I got for you. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Do all those things. I appreciate you so much. Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments about who you want to win MVP and who you think should win MVP. And I'm out. Peace.